All right, let's dive into one of the most foundational stories ever told, the six-day creation narrative from the very first chapter of Genesis. It's this incredibly powerful, really structured story of how everything came to be. And today, we're going to see exactly how that amazing structure unfolds. So the story kicks off, but not with a totally blank slate. It's something else. The text describes the world as formless and empty. Picture this, watery chaos, just darkness everywhere. This is our ground zero, right? Just pure, unordered potential. And then, bam, right into that chaos, the first thing that happens is a command. A word is spoken, and it brings light into existence. And this is about so much more than just flipping on a light switch. This is the very first step in bringing order to that formless void, the one act that gets the whole process started. Okay, so that leads us right into the first major phase of creation. On day one, the most basic, fundamental rhythm of our entire world gets established. So let's get right into it. Day one. So on this very first day, three key things go down. First, light is literally spoken into being. Second, it's separated from the darkness, which creates this essential division. And third, these two things get names, day and night. So you've got creation, then separation, and finally, naming. That's how order starts to take shape. And right after this first big act of organizing the universe, we get this phrase that's going to become really familiar. And God saw that it was good. You're going to see this pop up again and again. It's like a stamp of approval at each step, confirming that every part of the plan is perfect. All right, so we've got light and dark. What's next? Well, the next couple of days are all about building the actual architecture, the fundamental structures of the world as we know it. So how does that architecture actually get built? Well, let's check out day two. And here's that key theme again, separation. An expanse, which gets the name sky, is created to divide all that water. What this does is establish a clear boundary between the waters above, the heavens, and the waters below. It's the basic framework for the whole cosmos. Okay, so we've got a sky. Now, let's move on to day three. Day three is a huge one. I mean, a lot happens here. The waters under the sky get gathered up, which allows dry land to finally appear. And again, they get names, earth and seas. And no time is wasted. Immediately, this new land is told to produce all kinds of plants and trees. So the world isn't just getting its shape. It's actually becoming a place that can support life. Okay, stop for a second and look at this. This is where you see the incredible design of the whole story. It's got this beautiful symmetry. The first 3 days are about forming the realms, and the next 3 days are about filling those exact realms. Day 1 makes light, day 4 fills it with the sun and moon. Day 2 makes the sky and sea, day 5 fills them with birds and fish, day 3 makes the land, and day 6 fills it with animals and humans. It's this really beautiful poetic parallel, an absolutely elegant structure. So the stage is set, right? The realms are created. Now it's time to fill them up. This next phase is all about populating the world with light bearers and, well, living things. And first up in this filling phase, day 4. Exactly like the pattern we just saw, day 4 is all about filling the space created on day 1. The sun, moon, and stars are made, and their job is laid out super clearly. They're there to mark time, for seasons, for days, for years, and to rule over the day and the night. It's a whole new level of order. All right, on to day 5. So remember the sky and seas from day 2? Well, now they get populated. The waters are told to just teem with life, and birds are created to fly across the sky. And this is a really big deal because it's the very first time we hear a blessing in the story, a command for these brand new creatures to be fruitful and multiply. Okay, all of this has been building up to the grand finale of creation, the 6th day. This is the climax of the whole story, where the land gets filled and the central figures are finally introduced. Day 6. This is it, the big one, the final day of creation. So the day kicks off by filling that last empty space. The land from day 3 is commanded to bring forth every kind of living creature. You've got your livestock, things that creep along the ground, and wild animals, each one made according to its kind. But then, right in the middle of day 6, the whole tone of the story just shifts, big time. Just look at this comparison here. All the other animals were made according to their kinds, but for humanity, the language is completely different. The text says, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." This is a massive distinction. It's meant to set humanity completely apart from everything else that's been made. And with a creation this unique comes a pretty unique job description. The story doesn't just stop with humanity's creation, it gives them a very specific purpose. So here it is, the specific mandate. Humans are blessed, just like the animals, to be fruitful and multiply, but they get this unique instruction on top of that, to fill the earth, subdue it, and to rule over all the other living things. This basically sets up their job as caretakers or stewards of this brand new world. And so at the very end, after all the pieces are in place, after the world is formed and filled and humanity is set in its role, the final verdict changes. It's not just good anymore. Now the text says it was very good. And that leaves us with a really big question to think about. What does it actually mean for all of creation in its complete and perfectly ordered state to be not just good, but very good?